Tonight, Artemis 2 will face its greatest challenge yet, safely returning to Earth. In a few hours, Orion will hit the atmosphere at nearly 25,000 miles an hour, generating extreme heat and a 6-minute-long communications blackout. And protecting the crew is a heat shield that NASA has acknowledged is flawed. MS Now's Josh Einiger is live from NASA's Mission Control Center in Houston. Also with us, Colonel Chris Hadfield, a retired astronaut and former commander of the International Space Station, as well as author of the book, Final Orbit. Good to have both of you. So, Josh, for starters, just walk us through what happens in these final minutes before splashdown. What are the key moments here?
Well, the key moments, Chris, start in a few hours from now when they complete a final burn to get on the right trajectory. They ditch what's called the surface module, and then they end up with a capsule that looks something like this. And before space experts in the audience flag this is a model of an Apollo capsule from more than 50 years ago. But for the purposes of what I want to show you, this is what I want to talk about. This is the business end today when they actually plummet through the atmosphere at nearly 25,000 miles per hour. And what's really important is the surface here, the heat shield, they call it. It's an epoxy resin called Avcoat. And the issue here has to do with what happened during the first Artemis mission a couple years ago, Artemis 1. When it splashed down, engineers inspecting that capsule found damage to the heat shield that they were greatly concerned about for future missions. And NASA's solution to that problem for Artemis 2 was to change the trajectory at which the vehicle actually approaches the atmosphere in hopes that will minimize that potential for damage. Damage to the heat shield, of course, could be catastrophic. It could be fatal to the astronauts on board. So there is nothing more important than this. They say, mission management, that they are confident the changes they've made will protect the astronauts and that they will have a safe splashdown. But of course, all eyes are on those last few minutes of re-entry into the Earth's atmosphere. The other thing that has to work, the parachute system. There are 11 parachutes that will deploy to slow it to about 20 miles per hour as it hits the Pacific Ocean later this afternoon. Yesterday, I had a chance to speak with a member of the team that designed those parachutes.
We've got 11 total parachutes on Orion, which decelerates the vehicle from about 350 miles per hour at 24,000 feet down to a cozy 17 miles per hour at the surface, so our crew has a nice, safe landing. They're going to work, and in the case that something went wrong, we don't really have the ability to change the design or the operation of the chutes in real time. So the team has really put in the hard work and the dedication over the last 15, 20 years to make sure we get it right this time.
Mission Control just said the stage is set for a splashdown this afternoon. The weather, they say, could not be better off the coast of California. The moment we are all waiting for, a little bit more than 7 hours away. Chris?
Love it when the weather cooperates. So, Colonel, Charlie Camarda, who's a former NASA astronaut and expert on heat shields, says NASA, he believes, should never have launched Artemis 2. He told the New York Times he thinks there's a 95% chance astronauts will return safely, but that means a 1 in 20 odds of disaster. After splashdown, you know this well, in 2022, Artemis 1 had big chunks missing from its heat shield. What's your level of confidence that this revised heat shield will work?
When Charlie Camarda talks, I listen. I've known Charlie for a lot of years. But when everybody else at NASA and all of the researchers talk, I listen to them too, including the administrator of NASA. And the people that are really worried about this and thinking about it are the crew. And they have been looking at this as close, naturally, or closer than anyone. And they are convinced that the heat shield's going to protect them adequately coming home from space today. So nothing wrong with dissenting opinions, but we also need to do what makes sense. And if we wait for everything to be perfect, then we will never do anything. We have to actually take a risk in order to explore the rest of the universe. And by my judgment, which is not the one deciding, but by everybody else's, this is a risk worth taking today. And my gut tells me I think we're going to be fine.
We've talked a lot on this program about the scientific reasons for going on this mission and what they could bring back. But I want to ask you about something a little more down to earth if I can. This country is grappling with so many different difficult political issues, but those images that the astronauts took in space and the bravery of the astronauts themselves seem to have really inspired something, as space often can, in the American people. You must have thought about this, Colonel. What is it that it has that power?
Well, yeah, it's a difficult time on Earth, as often happens, as we squabble over territory and fear and normal human behavior. But that doesn't mean that everything is bad. There are still magnificent things happening. Human spirit, exploration, individual excellence, and the quest to try and understand the unknown. And that's what Artemis embodies for everyone. You literally look up in awe at what these people are doing. The way the vehicles behaved, the way the mission has gone, the way those pictures look are spectacular. But I think perhaps the most impactful part of it is the way the crew has behaved, the way they've expressed themselves, the way they've shown what people can be and what professional astronauts do for a living and where it can take us all. And now, as much or maybe even more than ever, we really need an inspirational and forward-thinking example that everyone can look towards. And to me, Artemis has done that wonderfully.
Look what can happen when people work together. So well said.